I mean, people go, what's the real Andrew Clay Silverstein? Who is that other, opposed to Dice? Mm-hmm. Because I get, who's Dice, who's Andrew Clay, who's the Jewish kid, who's the guy that's acting Italian, I get it.
This week, y'all, we're looking at character comedians. These are comedians who present themselves as someone other than who they are. Now, some comedians have characters that pop in and out of their material, maybe one or maybe a few, who are versions of themselves or characters that they've made up and they're representing on stage. For instance, George Carlin's Hippy Dippy Weatherman.
I predicted clear skies, and we have clear skies. Tonight you can see the moon shining right down on the 3 feet of snow that fell over the weekend.
Richard Pryor's Mudbone.
She had to go to the outhouse. I knew that, because I saw her eat dinner. She ate 4 pounds of greens,
Aziz Ansari's Randy.
My name is Randy with 8 A's.
Andy Kaufman's Tony Clifton.
How you doing? All right. Nice to see everybody out here. Everybody feeling good?
The characters of Flip Wilson, of Bob Newhart, Whoopi Goldberg, or Rory Scovel. They're characters that you see all the time in other forms of comedy. For example, Sacha Baron Cohen's Borat, or Stephen Colbert, as he once was on Comedy Central, or the podcast characters of comedians like Paula Tompkins or Lauren Lapkus.
I don't know how you feel about it, Sonny.
The same, you know that.
That was a trick question.
Razzle dazzle.
Characters exist in all these different worlds, but it's pretty rare to see it in stand-up comedy. And today we're going to focus on the comedians who didn't have characters that popped up now and then in their material. These are comedians who presented themselves for their entire career or for a large portion of their career as one person. They presented themselves as this person on stage, but also in interviews and in talk shows, and they really became this other person. These are comedians like Wee Herman, Andrew Dice Clay, Emo Phillips, Moms Mabley, and I would argue Mark Twain. In the past few decades, there's been this switch towards more vulnerable and more authentic stand-up comedy being in the mainstream. This is a genre that had a lot of popularity in the 80s and has popped up in other worlds. The only character comedian I can think of nowadays who is firmly a character but is still having incredible success for his niche is Larry the Cable Guy.
You can make fun of old folks. I'll be old one day. Sucks getting old, I'll tell you what.
I'm a country kid, I'm a cow kid, I'm a livestock kid, a horse guy.
Right.
I hang out with people that talk like that.
This is a style of comedy that doesn't get that much respect. Every genre of comedy, and I mean this very seriously, every genre of stand-up has their hacks and every genre has their geniuses. For example, if we look at Andrew Dice Clay, one of the most popular comedians in this particular style of comedy, he is hated by tons of people in the comedy world, but he also was the first comedian to sell out Madison Square Garden 2 nights in a row, which isn't nothing. That's crazy.
You sold out Madison Square Gardens 2 nights in a row. How many people are in there?
18,000.
18,000 people.
18,000 a night.
Character comedy isn't always brash and loud and broad and reductive. It can be used to great effect to be kind of vulnerable and dramatic. If we look at Whoopi Goldberg's 1985 direct from Broadway special, she does 5 different characters and they each have these kind of beautiful story arcs.
And I realized that was really a stupid way to do things, because why cut off your nose to spite your face? And when that hit me, so did the fact that I was in the empty room crying.
And it can be used in a certain way. As I said, they all have their hacks and they all have their geniuses.
I'm nervous. I'm gonna be honest, I'm nervous. I don't usually do this kind of stuff. But I got some zizzle zazzle. Let's get into it.
Now, for my money, there's one particular character comedian who seems to stand apart from the rest. This comedian likes to shriek and warble and spout nonsense, and I find him completely endearing. And this, of course, is Bobcat Goldthwait.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. It feels so good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It feels real good to be here tonight.
Today's case study, Bobcat Goldthwait, is a total weirdo, but I find him so fascinating because he not only came into this world hot at the age of 20, but he is one of the few character comedians that has successfully walked away. If you watch his stand-up now, he's not doing the voice that made him famous. He's talking as himself.
Oh, hi, thank you. It's nice to be here in Montreal. Hi, yes, you don't look the same either.
In his first album, Meet Bob, he screams nonsense for a long time before saying, "Jokes are like tiny little lies, and that's why I don't have jokes." He was anti-comedy and absurdist comedy in a pretty brazen manner.
All right, we're going to the phones right now. You're lying! We are not going to the phones right now. We taped it. All right, we're going to the tape machine right now.
In many senses, Bobcat's character is a child, alternating between throwing temper tantrums and smirking a little smirk as if he's awaiting a gold star from a teacher.
I'm going bowling with David Letterman. My mother's gonna be really happy.
When I try to explain my love for Bobcat Goldthwait, it always comes back to this kind of wide-eyed innocence that even with the character, he wasn't able to shake.
All right, now I understand. Are you married, have a kid or something? Somebody told me about. Yeah, but you know, what do you have in mind?
Bobcat had bit roles in some movies in his 20s, including the role of Zed McGluck in the Police Academy franchise. And he found a lot of success. He also was good friends with Kurt Cobain randomly, and he opened for what he called the Nirvanas on the road.
I did, I think, like 16, 17 shows. I met Kurt before they broke. He was a fan of mine and wanted to interview me. I know that blows people's minds. It's like finding out that like Jimi Hendrix really loved Buddy Hackett or something.
But I think that this makes a lot of sense because in many ways he and a lot of character comedians feel more like musicians than comedians. Bobcat himself has said that Keith Moon has influenced him more than Jerry Seinfeld has. Goldthwait's best moments, in fact, don't come from the stage. They come from the strange antics that seem to follow him on late-night circuits and on interviews. Boy, if you want to see some crazy late-night TV stuff that could never happen nowadays, you've got to check out Bobcat Goldthwait. Whether it's destroying Arsenio Hall's set, lighting fire to Jay Leno's chair, jumping on Conan's desk, Bobcat did it all.
I feel... Why make it easier for the next guy? Are you really quitting? Yeah. Well then, let's cut right now.
Bobcat Goldthwait was even invited onto Carson during Johnny's last week, but he said no because he was already booked on the Arsenio Hall show, a show that had been so kind to him throughout his career. And when he was asked why he didn't cancel to be on Carson, he simply replied, "Dance with the one that brought you." In the 90s and early 2000s, Bobcat Goldthwait kind of left performing and followed his dream of becoming a director and a filmmaker. My favorite thing about Bobcat Goldthwait is that he did his career backwards. He started by selling out, and then as he got older, he began to do what he actually wanted. I guess that's part of the benefit of breaking at 20 years old. Whenever I over-intellectualize or get too in my head about loving these comedians who bare their souls, I watch 10 seconds of Bobcat Goldthwait and I remember the value of silliness.
How are you, Bobcat?
How am I? I am willing to give you the best show I am contractually obligated to.
Thank you.
I am willing to give you that scale plus 10 performance that I have in my soul.
What is it like? Is it $325?
$325. If I get any funnier than that, you just shut me up.
All right, don't worry.
Okay guys, those are character comedians. They're very weird and they are a dying breed. And so if you love your character comedians, please reach out to them and let them know that we still need them. I don't care if they're a vestige of the cocaine and the craziness of the 80s. There's something to love in this genre, and there's something that I think we're missing nowadays.
I've gotta go tonight!
If you liked it, like it. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. We're verging on 100 subscribers, which makes me very happy. And I'm excited to keep doing this for you guys. There are a few left still to go, and then I have some ideas for what to do after this little series. So I'm excited. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff I hate saying but need to say. And thank you. I'll see you guys next week.